Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good to see you again.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
One more year.
Yes, and hopefully it's a good one. Um,
Yes, yes.
it's not starting out too good for me. I've been sick for the past 2 days. Um,
You catch
but
flu?
yeah, a little bit of a I don't know if it's not flu, but like a cold and ear infection. So not fun. But the
Okay.
nice thing about verbling is you can't possibly catch what I have. So I can still come to work and
Yeah, yeah. How was
and
your New Year?
it was wonderful. It was really good. I was in New York for the
Ah,
New
good,
Year.
good. I
Yeah.
like New York. New York is very wonderful. I like New York.
I do too. It's only the second time that I've been there, and I didn't do much sightseeing or any tourist type stuff. But I like it. I like big cities, so it was good. How was yours?
Sorry?
How was your New Year's?
It's okay, it's okay. I was in the beach, but I don't jump the waves
Oh no!
because the water it was very dirty.
Oh
But
no!
yeah, yes, the previous time that I was in the beach, it was a beautiful beach. The water is very clear, is very clean. So this time I think 2, 3 times, and I don't jump in the water.
Oh no! So does that mean you'll have bad luck this year?
Yeah, no, no, no. Always, always. I am a person of a good luck.
Oh, good,
I
good.
am a person of good luck.
Good. We make our own luck, some would say.
Yes.
Cool. Um, and Salvatore, hello.
Hi Stephanie, Happy New Year.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Nice to see you again.
Good, nice to see you as well. Did you have a good New Year?
Yes, teacher. I made a dinner with my friends and I made some fireworks, a
Oh,
little
nice,
fireworks.
nice.
Yes,
That sounds lovely. Good. Well, welcome.
thank you.
And Marius, hello.
Hello.
How are you today?
Fine, fine, thank you.
Good. And where are you from?
I'm from Spain.
Spain. Wonderful. Is this your first class with me?
Yes, it's the first class with
I
you.
I thought so. Well, welcome. It's very nice to meet you.
Thank
Uh,
you.
did you have a good New Year?
Yeah, yeah, was okay. Yeah, with friends and family. Yeah, like
Good.
every year, you know.
Well, good. Good. And Andre, hello.
Hello,
How are you?
I am fine, thank you.
Good. And did you have a good New Year?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it. I was at home with my wife, so it was enough to make me happy.
Good. Good. That's the important thing. Wonderful. Um, well, good. So I guess we should get started. We will have hopefully a few more people join us. As I was saying, I am a little sick today. Um, I've been congested, so it's kind of hard to talk. And I've had an ear infection, so just talking and listening is kind of off for me today, so I apologize. Um, hopefully you won't notice any difference. Um, And let's see, so today's lesson is Discussion Starters, Militarized Police. There's a series of lessons called Discussion Starters on esllibrary.com. And I think they just come with really good discussion questions. And I think they give lots of opportunities for speaking practice. So that's why I chose them. I'm just going in order. So every time I do a discussion starters lesson, we'll have a different topic. And today's topic is militarized police, which is a topic I know very little about. So it'll be good to get some discussion going, and we can all learn something from this. I am trying to do less talking on Verbling. I feel like my lessons can be me doing too much of the talking, so hopefully this will be a better lesson for getting you all talking more and me talking less, but we'll see how it goes. So with that, let's get into it. The link hopefully was in the class description. I'll post it here too, I think. Okay. So the link is in the chat if you need it still. The lesson starts with some warm-up questions, and then there's a reading section, and I will ask you all to do the reading. It's only 5 paragraphs, so maybe if we each take a paragraph, then we'll have more discussion questions afterwards. And then there is a grammar point with this lesson about the word however. So we'll maybe spend a little time using however to discuss this topic. And let's see, Alexander, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you today?
Fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. All right, so let's get to it. I'll go ahead and screen share. I feel like it's been more than a week since I've taught a lesson, so I'm a little rusty getting back into it. All right. So let's see. Here's our lesson, Militarized Police. There's a nice quote here just to get us thinking. It says, "There's a reason you separate military and the police. One fights the enemies of the state, and the other serves and protects the people. When the military becomes both, then the enemies of the state tend to become the people." So that's a quote from Battlestar Galactica to get us thinking on the topic. And we'll start with some warm-up questions. First one, how is the role of a soldier different from the role of a police officer? So that's our question. Hopefully everyone can comment on that question. Again, I don't know much of anything about this topic, so but I will share my opinions as relevant, I guess. So anyone have a response to that? How is the role of a soldier different from the role of a police officer?
This topic is very complicated because in the final, I think both has the same objective, the same whole role, but in different fronts. The policy must act in the cities. Is related to the cities, to the urban, and the soldiers. They must act against the enemies. exterior enemies. Yes, but in the final, they have the same role. But sometimes in some countries, the military has they acting like policy. And I think this can be a problem. In many countries, the the military, the militaries, they don't they don't have they don't have the training. They don't know acting with civilians. They only use the force, different to the policy. But now we find many policies acting like military, using first the force, the brutality, and after asking.
Well, yeah. Good. Thank you. Good comments. So they have a similar role, but it gets messy or tricky when one is doing the job of the other, or when one is acting like the other.
Yes.
Excellent. I think we'll be coming back to that idea again and again throughout this lesson. Good. Thanks. Anyone else? Any thoughts on how the role of a soldier is different from that of a police officer?
I think their roles are quite different because police officer should consider himself as a guard for citizens. When a soldier have to get commands from his boss or a person who has a higher position and defeat the enemies. So a police officer, it is a person who people, citizens could trust, could expect some help from them, even if it is a little help, like help an older lady to pass the road. So a soldier, it is a person who people should be afraid of, especially foreigners.
Good. Good. So we see a difference in the population that they are intended to serve, or namely that the police are supposed to guard and protect its own people, while military is kind of for outsiders. Excellent. Good. Anyone else? Any thoughts?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
I had this military in a country. I think that help people when, for example, there is an earthquake, or when raining a lot, and there is a bad situation for people.
Okay, so military would help more with major crises like earthquakes, like you said, or good.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, in
Anyone?
my country, so one point about this major crisis, I think for in my country, in this situation, we have a civil guard that act in this situation. They act in this situation. Not
Okay.
only the situation is not the militaries.
Okay, so not is it a special branch of the police then?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So okay. So we see there's a police, there's military, but then there's also like a National Guard,
Yeah.
which is kind of in the middle. Interesting. Good. Anyone else comments on that first warm-up question?
Yeah, can I say something?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think there is a clear distinction in the democratic countries. There is a clear distinction between army and police.
Mm-hmm.
The army fight outside in the exterior with the enemies,
Mm-hmm.
and the police it's fighting in the interior, fighting I, yeah with the criminals.
Mm-hmm.
And in the tyrannic regimes, I think the army is used to fight inside against the uh, population.
Mm.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, good. Great comment. Yeah, so we see a difference between democratic societies and or more tyrannical societies. Good. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And I think that will be a theme we'll come back to a lot again. Good. So how about our second warm-up question then? How can a police department build a trusting relationship with local citizens?
doing well your job.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way to build trust is to do your job well and the people will trust you.
Protecting the people, protecting the civilians, not doing corrupting, not stalling stalling the stealing the population. I think.
Yeah, so to avoid corruption, to do their job
Yes.
honestly and well, not abuse the power that they
Yeah.
have. Yeah, good. I think that's a great way. Anyone else? How can a police department build a trusting relationship?
Can I add something, teacher?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yes.
I can say that happened in Italy last week. A woman stolen something in a supermarket because they didn't have money for to live,
Mm-hmm.
and the responsible of supermarket called the police, in this
Mm-hmm.
case carabinieri
Mm-hmm.
in Italian carabinieri.
Mm-hmm.
When carabinieri arrived at the supermarket, they spoke with this woman, and the woman she admitted that she stolen the things at the supermarket, but Carabinieri paid the things that she stolen, and so the responsible of supermarket he didn't then I don't know how to say in English. He
Press
didn't enough.
charges.
Yes, he did nothing for woman, and in my opinion, this is a good thing because in Italy we have a bad reception for economy, and it's a good thing, I think.
Wow, that's a really interesting story. I don't hear stories like that often, where someone committed a crime, but out of need, literally stealing food out of hunger, and the police paying that off. That's amazing. That sounds that
Yes,
sounds like the carabinieri are definitely have a trusting relationship with the local population. Wow.
yes. It was a good example for population.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else, any thoughts on that or any similar story? I've never heard a story of such kindness from the police. All right. Well, let's just quickly then look at the third question. What happens when civilians fear the police? What are some of the consequences if the population or the civilians are afraid of the people who are supposed to serve them?
When this situation happen, we, for example, when a problem occur, uh, the population don't ask help for the police.
Mm.
This I think this is this main problem. In certain regions, areas, for example, can be create militias, can be create groups that acting like policy. It's other example here in the lungs in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, for example, we have militias that they acting like policies, and the criminals they are involved with these militias. So we have criminals acting in certain way protecting the people, but they are committing they are committing the crimes, and the policy stay aside, and it's a problem. It's a problem for
Yeah,
all.
it sounds like you noted several problems there, and namely the trust. If civilians fear the police, they won't be willing to ask for help. And if the police are corrupt, then the people can't trust them.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any responses to that question? All right. Well, let's continue. Again, I don't know much about this topic, so I don't have tons to say, but there is a helpful reading passage to give us some more information. So there are 5 paragraphs in this reading, and it looks like there are 5 of us participating in the class. So that works out perfectly. So if you're willing, I'd like us each to take one paragraph, and then we'll go through vocabulary along the way. So we'll stop after each paragraph and discuss any vocabulary or any new language that you have questions about. All right, so I guess I will take the first paragraph, and then we'll just go Wellington, Salvatore, Marius, and AKA. And welcome, AKA. Good to see you again.
Yes, hello, good to see you again.
All right. So, militarized police. How did the lines become blurred? What should a government do with surplus military equipment? This is a question the U.S. government tackled in recent decades. Since the early 1990s, the U.S. Secretary of Defense has been transferring military-grade supplies to federal and state law enforcement agencies. Millions of dollars worth of U.S. military vehicles, supplies, and ammunition are transferred to police forces across America each year. All right, so we'll stop there. Any questions on this paragraph?
What does mean surplus?
Yeah, surplus means extra.
Extra.
Yeah, we could. Not sure. More than necessary. So
Okay.
if there's a surplus, there's more than the military needed. So they have extra.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, good question. Other questions?
No, thank you.
All right. So then, Wellington, will you take paragraph 2 for us, please?
Okay. What happens when police officers begin to resemble armed soldiers? Many citizens felt that the militarization of policy invites confrontation, transforming everyday neighborhoods into war zones. As history has shown, peaceful protests turn into violent riots when police officers arrive in armed fatigues. Heightening racial tensions between police and civilians in America appear to be linked to the militarization of law enforcement. Black and Latino youth in particular feel as though they are treated as the enemy.
Excellent. Good. Good. So any questions on this paragraph? It looks like this reading is from a United States standpoint. Any questions on this paragraph? Any vocabulary or anything else?
Not for me.
All right. Anyone else?
And what does mean army fatigues? Army fatigues.
Good. Good. Army fatigues are the uniforms that a soldier would wear. Let's see what their definition is. Like camouflage clothing worn by soldiers. It's called their army fatigues. So just an army uniform. Camouflage. Good question. Any other questions on this paragraph?
Yes. What is resemble?
Resemble.
Resemble.
Yeah, to resemble is to look like something. So you might say, I resemble my mother. I look like my mother. Police officers resemble armed soldiers. Their definition up here, yep, is to look like.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Good. Good question. And any other questions? All right. Let's go on to paragraph 3, and I think it is Salvatore's turn. Salvatore, will you take paragraph 3 for us, please?
Yes. Civilians aren't the only ones who disagree with the militarization of police. Many military personnel feel that local police officers aren't properly trained to use military-grade equipment. They note that police shouldn't ride on top of armored vehicles or aim their assault weapons at armed protesters.
Excellent. And there's a little bit more up top here.
Retired police officers have a different concept, however. They fear that officers are receiving too much tactical training. Since 9/11, the notion of serving and protecting has taken a back seat in many police training programs.
Okay. Thank you very much. Nice reading. So any questions on paragraph 3 from anyone?
Has taken back seats.
Ah, good. Yes. So this is an idiom. To take a back seat is to become less important. Let's actually look at their definition as well. So to take a back seat would be, which one will that be? To not be a priority in comparison to something else. So something might be important, but then something more important happens, and the first thing takes a back seat. A related idiom would be to put on the back burner. Take a back seat. Good question. Any other questions? Good. All right. So this is very, very United States oriented.
No,
So
I think for many countries, for Brazil, for example, to Brazil, this happened here too.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, it's maybe a problem that many countries are experiencing.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So, Marius, will you take paragraph 4, please?
Yes. The saying desperate times call for desperate measures is often used to defend the militarization of police. However you look at it, the war on drugs and the threat and the threat of homeland security have changed the role of the police officer in America. President Obama, however, has expressed concern about police officers blurring the lines in situations that are not high risk. In 2014, after a white police officer shot and killed an armed black youth in Missouri, protesters filled the streets. Obama criticized the law enforcers for their aggressive response toward the peaceful protesters who were lawfully exercising their First Amendment rights.
Excellent. Thank you. Good. So this is pretty recent in the United States. This fall, there were many protests, which is maybe kind of a hot topic right now.
I have the impression that I read this article in the New York Times. I don't remember, or CBS. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was. I think I did a lesson with an article about this.
No, it's good. I think it's good. This topic is actual, so it's very interesting for us because it's a topic that we find in these days.
in our everyday lives,
Yes,
unfortunately.
yes, yeah.
Good. Um, so are there any questions on this paragraph 4 or comments?
To blur the lines.
Good. Yep, we have
Blurring the lines.
another great idiom here. To blur the lines is kind of to let's see, how do I say it without another idiom? If you're blurring the lines, you're not strictly following the rules. So in this case, situations that were not high risk were maybe treated as high risk. So the police were blurring the lines between high risk and low risk situations. You might blur the lines between, it usually has to do with rules. Let's just look at their definition really quickly. This would be their definition: to mix or confuse concepts or boundaries that should be distinct. So when there's a clear boundary or rule and you kind of mix it up or play on both sides of the line, you're blurring the line. So I don't know if that's very clear, but I hope.
Yeah, I think for me it's clear because they in determined situations they forgot that they must they must protect the civilians. They acting with high force. So instead, the civilians feeling that they are protecting the civilians, the population feel fear, and of course, for consequence, they don't trust the policies. They don't have trust in the policy.
Yeah, good. Good. Yeah, so when police officers blur the lines, people don't know what the lines are. People don't know who to trust. Good. Any other questions on this paragraph? All right, so let's go to the last paragraph, and AKA, it is your turn.
Okay, a re-examination of the programs that transfer military supplies to civilian police departments is in the works. However, many critics feel it's too late. More Americans are killed by police officers than ever before, and the U.S. has the highest incarceration rate in the world. Will America become a full-blown police state?
Good. Good. So this reading ends with a pretty loaded question there. Are there any questions on the vocabulary or anything in this paragraph?
Incarceration and full-blown.
Yes, incarceration. So the incarceration rate is the rate of people in jail. If you are incarcerated, you're in jail. Let's look at yep, so here's the definition is imprisonment. Incarceration is imprisonment. Good. Any other questions?
And full-blown.
Ah, yes, full blown. So full blown would be like just fully employed or fully not halfway, but all the way. So yeah, full blown police state would just be like an extreme police state.
Okay.
Good questions. Anyone else? Any other questions on that?
Sorry, I don't understand very well. Flu blown.
Yeah. So full blown means completely. So I might say, for example, right now I'm sick, but it's not the full blown flu. So,
Okay.
so I'm not all the way sick. I don't have a fever. I'm not vomiting,
You
but
don't
I
have
do have a cough and a headache and ear infection.
you don't have all the symptoms.
Yeah, yeah. So if
Okay.
something's full blown, it's got all of it. It's very
Okay.
complete. It's thorough or complete. All of
Okay.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. Great question. Good. All right. So it looks like this reading kind of starts with talking about military equipment, and when military equipment is given to the police, then maybe the police start acting more like military. We are going to skip the comprehension questions and the vocabulary, though you're welcome to do that on your own. Let's go on to the discussion questions. So our first discussion question is name some high-risk situations or crimes that deserve an aggressive response from a SWAT team. And we see down here that SWAT team stands for Special Weapons and Tactics. So kind of a special police force with specialized training for more serious situations. And then also name some low-risk situations that do not require a tactical response. All right, so that's our first question. Does anyone want to answer right away?
I don't understand the question.
Yeah, it's a kind of a tricky question. Let me try to answer it, and we'll
No,
see.
okay.
Okay.
SWAT is for the high risk.
Yes. Yep.
This is the question.
Yeah. So, like,
Is
what would what type of situation would need a special weapons team, and what type of situation would not?
for example, if we have a bomber, or I think the SWAT is the group that we must call, for example.
Yeah, that's a really good example of a high-risk situation. Good. Yeah, and we'd call the special team because with a bomb, the regular police, of course, might not have the training. Good. Anyone else? Any high-risk situations you can think of?
Maybe
Yeah,
captive barricaded case.
Can you say that again?
Captive barricade case, like in a bank or something like that. Or
Yeah, so if someone is taking people captive or hostage,
yeah.
yeah, that's a really good example.
Uh,
'Cause yeah.
do you mean a person kidnapped? Kidnapping?
Not kidnap. Sometimes the gang attack the kind of or a bank or other place, and they capture the people, not get out.
Yeah, so
A lot of
holding them
yeah.
hostage, we
Or
might say,
yeah, hostage.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you're taking hostages. What was it? Just a couple weeks back, there was in Sydney, Australia, there was, I think it was a cafe. A gunman went into a cafe and held people hostage.
Okay.
Yeah,
In
I think
Australia.
definitely a situation where you would want a special team
Yeah.
to come out. Good. How about Marius or Salvatore? Can you think of a high-risk situation?
Yeah, one high-risk situation could be when two gangs, they have a fight with
Mm-hmm.
guns.
Uh-huh.
That could be a high-risk situation.
Yes, that's a great example. Yeah, if two gangs were having a gunfight, we'd certainly want police with special training to come help. Good. All right. Anyone else? How about low risk situations? I think that's pretty easy. Maybe we don't need to spend much time on that. But a low risk situation, I suppose, would be like Salvatore said with the woman stealing food from a grocery store. Yeah,
Robbery without guns, victims, a regular robbery, I think, or a problem between neighbors.
yeah. So kind of conflicts that don't have guns involved, kind of more mild
Yes,
argument.
hard guns, né? Hard guns, hard weapons,
Yeah. Yeah, so
heavy
so
weapons.
maybe like two men fighting at a bar, maybe with no weapons.
Yeah.
Good. Anyone else? Example of a low risk situation?
Yes, could be a domestic fight between a wife and her husband.
Yeah. So a domestic issue might
Yes.
be low risk, and yeah, you wouldn't need a SWAT team for that. Good. Okay, let's go on. We only have with the time remaining, let's go on to question 3. I think question 3 might be interesting for discussion. How does the right to bear arms contribute to the problem of militarized police?
Sorry, teacher. What does it mean, the verb to bear? I don't remember. What does it mean?
In this case, it means to carry.
To carry.
So yeah, when you hear it with bear arms, it means to have weapons. By itself, it would mean like support. But with bare arms, it means to carry a weapon.
Okay.
I think this problem is like question, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
It could, and it's certainly in the United States. It's very much that way. But what do we think? I know with some people I've spoken with, especially my friends who are in the UK, they think that we Americans are insane for having our gun, our right to have a gun, and they make the argument that police maybe overreact because they don't know if the people they're dealing with have guns. Since everyone can have a gun, the police have to act as if everyone does have a gun. So that might be one problem that the right to bear arms poses.
I don't know the rate of the violence in UK, for example. I know that here in Brazil we have policy, army policy, and the rate is high because the main fact is there are a lot of poor poor there are many situations that improve that this rate grow. But I think we have a lot of problems with the militarized policy because sometimes the policy don't act the well way. But I don't know. I think the government the government must see the policy in UK like example, but sometimes they also acting the wrong way. There is, I don't know if there is one Brazilian, the name is Jean. They by the policy in London. They think they thought that he was a terrorist.
Oh, okay.
But he was a civilian. They were there working, and also I think the problem is not the gun in the hands of the policy. I think the problem is the training or the lack of training.
Okay. Yes. Good. Interesting. Yeah. So that the right to bear arms isn't the problem, but the problem is when police are poorly trained in how to respond to situations.
Yes.
Good. Anyone else? It's an interesting question.
I think the in America kind of I guess Rifle Association, American Rifle Association lobbying is very strong, and I heard their argument. I mean, their pro-gun statements. They said people kill people. Gun doesn't kill people, but actually the tools reinforce or enlarge the human's ability. Once we have a gun, maybe some people want to use that. Maybe such kind of thing senses. I don't agree with such kind of statement of maybe the kind of American Rifle Association don't
Yeah.
think that kind of thing deeply.
And that's a very common saying. We hear that a lot. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. And on one hand, sure, if it was just guns, nobody would die because guns are inanimate objects. But the other side of the coin is if people have easy access to guns, then in a moment of rage, they might use it. Whereas if they didn't have access, they might not. Interesting. It's an interesting point. Anyone else comments on that? Yeah.
Sorry. If the people
No, go
have
ahead.
their own guns, maybe police are also afraid of such guns or kind of criminal hearts, so they react more aggressively by using guns. That's kind of a vicious cycle. That's America now. It seems like a vicious cycle is happening in America, in my point of view.
It does seem like it. And I think I know talking about the Ferguson stuff, I know that's a big point that a lot of people made in defense of the police, that they don't know if, if they're going to stop someone for something, they don't know if that person has a gun. So when that person doesn't put their hands up, or when they reach for something in their coat, police might be quick to assume it's a gun, and use more force than they need.
So the gun control and the system itself should be changed, because New York police agreed with carrying a small camera to shoot the scene along with guns. So at least in New York City, police action is recording now. So what's actually happening there? Such kind of system also, prevent the tragedy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that changes things, how having video cameras changes situations. I think that's pretty new technology to have standard. Should be cool to see in the future. Anyone else? Any thoughts on that, or anything else in this topic?
I think to finalize, the civilians, the policy, I think the structure, the